The management trap. If you are a parent of a child with PDA or RSD, you have likely become an expert at de-escalation. You know how to whisper, how to give space, and how to use calm down tools. But have you ever noticed that even when you regulate the meltdown, the potential for the next one is always sitting right under the surface? Most of the tools that we're given today, even the ones that talk about nervous system, are actually teaching us how to manage after effects. They address the fire once the match has already been struck. In this video, I'm going to show you why addressing the nervous system response is actually starting way too late. You're going to look at the resonance tree model to understand the energetic root that creates the trigger, so you can stop managing the aftermath and start changing the origin. For a long time, I did exactly what you're doing. I focused on the after effects. I worked on my mindset, I carefully changed how I spoke, and I learned how to breathe through the chaos. I thought that if I stayed calm, the storm would eventually pass. But I'll never forget the day that theory failed me completely. My daughter was in the middle of a meltdown so intense, it was like just like nothing that we had faced before. I was holding her in my arms, but she was screaming for me, literally calling out my name as if I wasn't there. She couldn't register my presence. I was calm, at least on the outside. I was using every tactic, every technique in the book. They were futile. There was a profound energetic wall between us. In that moment of total helplessness, I realised I had to think out of the box and I had to do it fast. I had been training in the reveal and release process, and I knew if there was ever a tested out moment, this was it. Right there, amidst the screaming, I stopped trying to manage her behaviour. I stopped trying to fix the meltdown. Instead, I used my resonance anchor to go deeper. I looked past the noise and accessed the roots. I found it, a pocket of invisible static, a high-frequency survival energy that had been triggered in her root system. The moment I identified it and allowed it to release, there was an instant physical shift in the room that I will never forget. She was still crying, but the screaming had stopped. She suddenly saw me. She knew I was there with her, and she settled into my chest. We had finally moved from that collision of frequencies to a resonance of connection. That day changed everything for me. It was the proof that the trigger isn't just a thinking problem, and it isn't even just a physical nervous system problem. It is a resonance problem. Once I started looking beneath the physical response and into those unconscious energetic imprints in the roots, everything changed for our house. The loop finally started stopping, not because I got better at managing the meltdowns, but because the frequency that was causing them was finally beginning to be resolved. If you have felt like there is a missing piece to your parenting puzzle that you're trying to solve, that is exactly what we explore in the Energy Wise Parenting Hub on School. We move beyond the surface level strategies and into the actual energy work of the resonance tree. Inside, you'll find the resonance anchor, which is designed to help you start accessing the root level today. The link is in the description. Come and join the community that is looking deeper. So let's look at why your current tools might feel like they're hitting a wall rather than being helpful. When we talk about RSD or PDA, we usually focus on nervous system response. We see the heart spike, the no, the screaming, or the total shutdown. But the nervous system is a messenger. It is responding to a signal. If you only address the nervous system, you are trying to muffle the sound of a siren while the smoke is still filling the room. You can muffle the sound all day, but the moment you stop, the siren starts again because the smoke, the original energetic frequency, is still there. In the resonance tree model, we don't start with the siren. We go to the root. The triggered experience is actually the resonance between the child's system and the unconscious energetic imprint. Sometimes it's an imprint of powerlessness. Sometimes it's a frequency of shame that doesn't even belong to them. When that root is active, a simple request like putting on your shoes doesn't sound like a request to them. Energetically, it feels like a massive threat. Addressing their thinking or their breathing at that moment is only addressing the after effect. It doesn't change the fact that their system is resonating with a threat at the root level. So how can we change the frequency? Now, this is where the work becomes powerful. To stop the loop, we have to go beneath the physical and the mental. We use a process of reveal and release. The reveal, we identify the specific frequency that is currently broadcasting in the root system. We aren't asking, why are they doing this? We are asking, what is the energy behind this? The release, this is the part that is missing from traditional coaching. We don't just cope with the energy, we bring it to completion. We use energetic tools to clear that frequency from the root system so it stops looping. When the root frequency changes, the nervous system doesn't have to spike. The after effect of the meltdown simply doesn't have to happen because the cause has been resolved. Now, it is important to understand this is not a one-time fix-it-all situation. Your child's root system may have multiple invisible static points accumulated over time. But as you address each frequency as it arises, you are systematically reducing the total number of triggers that they carry. You aren't just teaching your child to handle being triggered better. You are helping their system stop being triggered by the specific frequency altogether. And once that static is cleared, we can actually substitute a safe resonance in its place. And over time, the entire ground they stand on becomes more stable and safe. Now, you don't have to spend the next decade just getting better at handling meltdowns. There is a way to reach the root of the experience and create a different resonance in your home. It starts with moving your focus from the leaves, in other words, the behaviours, and the trunk, which is the nervous system, down to the root, which is the energy causing it. If you're ready to see what's actually driving the triggers in your home, click the link below, or there's a QR code somewhere about, and join us in the Energy Wise Parenting Hub. Let's stop managing the after effects and start healing the source. I'm Kerry, and I look forward to seeing you in the community.